I am Devlina, welcoming you all once again for another action-packed episode of Icons Behind Brands, third video interview series, Marketing Today and Tomorrow. And on today's episode, we have Mr. Vipul Chandra, who is a managing director of Ducati. With an experience over 23 years into automobile market, he has worked with companies like Mr. Venkatesh has Tata Motors and Ashok Leyland. Mr. Chandra, thank you for joining us. We are super excited to have you on board with us in Icons Behind Brands.
Good morning, Devalina, and thanks for having me over here.
We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So, Vipul, over 23 years in the field of sales and marketing, how has your journey been? Our viewers would love to know about your journey and your background.
Well, the journey has been an amazing one, and probably this is why I like my sales background, because I got to see so many places, I got to meet so many people, I got to see so many situations. So that has been a wonderful learning all across. I started my career with Berger Paints post my MBA. So needless to mention, that was a frontline sales job, because like any rookie on the field would start. So I also started that way. And from there, I have grown up through the ranks. And yes, the challenge has been, or the entire journey has been full of challenges. The entire journey has been full of learnings, meeting good people, even meeting bad people. So that's part of the life. And in process, learning so many things from them. And yes, it has been a treasure trove of journey, I would say. Wonderful one.
Awesome. So I feel, what is a life which is without a challenge and without an excitement? And a life
Nothing.
This person that that depicts a proper life of an adventurous one. So I feel that gives you a excitement to live the life in your fullest form, as you said.
Yes. And
so you have mentioned in your file as well that you are a salesperson for life. So you help us? Can you give us a step-by-step method for closing a sales so that the customer who gets a great sales experience? Yeah.
Well, by saying I'm a salesperson for life, that's a different thing. You have already articulated that for me, sales is a life skill, not a profession, not a job or something, but it's a life skill for me. So that meaning, that statement has got a different connotation. But yes, when you talk to me about my profession as a sales career, as a sales professional, then yes, while every situation would have, or it would require and demand different treatment, the very basic way forward for any sales situation is trying to understand what the other person wants. I'm not going into the classical definition of needs, wants, and desires. So let's leave that. Let's leave the MBA classroom out here. But unless the seller understands what the other person requires or demands or wants, you would not be able to sell your things correctly. So sales, once you understand what the other person requires, then you tailor your product around his needs. So there are so many steps, like the first and foremost is the availability of the service or the product, whatever you are trying to sell. Then the price negotiation, at what price you are willing to sell and at what price the customer is willing to buy. And finally reaching a situation wherein both of you are happy. You are happy as per your finance, that okay, I am selling the product at the desired price or at the desired profit level, and the other person is happy that okay, he is getting the services or the product at the prices he wishes to pay. So unless you reach this equilibrium, there wouldn't be a happy situation for both of the parties involved. And probably this is what the magic of sales is. So in my view, whatever preparation you do with reference to sales pitch, your pricing, your availability, your supply chain, there is always an iota of magic which will make your sales go through. So magic is always there. Every single deal is full of magic. And homework is what you need to do, and then you leave it up to the magic. That's sales for me.
Wow, I mean, I have never, seen sales with that perspective, but I could relate it very well with the magic perspective. I relate to it very well. The moment you close one deal and that creates a magic, I mean, to your customers, and inside within you, you feel that high, that you have closed something. And to sum it up, the whole conversation here, sales is something which creates a win-win situation for everyone.
Correct.
Right? So that is the best sale which is happening here. Amazing. So the magic has to, be there all the time. I mean, since you start the sales process until the end. So what comes first, marketing or sales, according to you?
That's a very tough and tricky question. So I would not fall into the trap of saying which comes first. But honestly speaking, these are two inseparable events in the process. In organizations today, we have a different sales function and a different marketing function because they have different treatments, different job requirements. But none of them can survive in the absence of the other.
Mm-hmm.
So they always go hand in hand, and it would be actually not fair with any of the organizations to be called superior.
Mm-hmm.
On a lighter note, I would say that in organizations, the thought process is marketing guys sit in the office and they do all the so-called nice stuff, and the sales guy, they have to slog in the field and they have to do all the field stuff. So that's okay. That's for a lighter note, that's fine. But they always go hand in hand, and it is the job of every function to pave the way for the other function. So let's take it that way. Marketing initiates certain activities in the marketplace, and that gives rise to certain opportunities, to leads, to inquiries, whatever way we say it. The salesperson comes into the picture, he closes the deal, and he gets the sales for the company. Now that would again go forward. So either the happy customer from the sales side would pave way for more sales, which is again part of the marketing, or the marketing would now fill the gap created by this closure of the deal. That okay, now I need to go to a different level, now I need to go through a different channel and again create certain opportunities or inquiries. So these two are inseparable kinds of things. They both follow each other. At times marketing would come first, at times sales would come first. So it is not fair to say which would come first, but yes, they go hand in hand. And for me, both are equally important. At least in my part of business, I cannot say that any one of them is less important than the other.
Wow. So these two are the brothers who goes hand in hand, and without one brother, the other, cannot perform in his 100% potential, and both needs each other to, reach the goal here.
Correct. Very true. Rightly said.
Super. So which are channels of marketing you use to generate the leads and which can turn into sales by the sales team?
In I would say for Superbikes, I would say we got two distinct channels other than the showroom. I'm not talking of my physical presence because that's already there. That's a given thing in a city. My showroom is there, so it's the biggest calling card for my brand, my showroom and the workshop. So let's leave that part, because any customer or any person who wishes to buy a Ducati, or even he wishes to look at a Ducati, he can anytime walk in my showroom, and my sales team can get in touch with them, and they can take him through the entire bike portfolio. So if we leave that part out, then probably I have got two distinct channels. One is the social media handles, which we follow very, very regularly. We are extremely active and present on social media handles. So you will find not only Ducati India per se, but you will find my dealerships also, and our other Ducati global handles as well. So you will find my Ducati Motor handling, Ducati Motor holding handles in a separate way, other Ducati entities across the world in separate ways. So we are very much active on all the social media handles, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are present everywhere, and through that we share our thoughts. Through there we are in touch with our customers. Our customers can write back to us. So it's a two-way communication. We are very, very open to all the comments and the feedbacks and observations from the customers. Whatever they say, whether they come to us first hand or we get it through someone, we are definitely in a process, we definitely reply to them. We try to close all the queries, whatever way. Second very important thing for us is experiential marketing.
Okay.
So now, unless you ride the bike in the right environment, you would not be convince yourself to spend the money for the bike.
That's right.
See, it is not about having money. It is about convincing yourself for shelling out that money for a bike. Because then you are not spending money, you are trying to buy, or you are trying to bring home the lifestyle you have always thought of.
That's right.
Having a couple of lakhs of rupees is not a big thing, I would say. Many people would be having that kind of money.
That's
but
right.
The hard process of going towards a lifestyle, pursuing your emotions, pursuing your thought process, pursuing your dreams is something which we need to give to the customer. Then we have different experientials such as off-roadings. So we take the customers for long rides, off-roads. So for Panigale series, you have racetracks. For Multistrada and such related bikes, we have off-roading and long dream tours. Then for normal city rides also, we have real-time test rides. So this is how we relate to our customers. We are in touch with our customers, and we ensure that when the customer is planning to buy a bike, he gets to understand and feel the bike in the real-time environment, and then he is very much clear and he happily buys our bike. Our goal is there should not be any post-purchase dissonance with the customer.
Yes.
So I think that's a very important step for us, and there we are pretty successful. I would say it's something on back, but okay, we are there.
So last 1.5 years, what were the major roadblocks you have faced, and how did you overcome that, Vipul?
Everyone knows that owing to the pollution levels and so many advancements, the BS4 line of vehicles was nearing its end by 31st of March 2020. So it was all said that we should be bringing in the new BS6 or Euro 5 compliant engines.
Okay.
However, because of the corona pandemic, it got delayed.
Okay.
So that pushed our plans late by almost 6 months. So we could launch our first Euro 5 or BS6 compliant bike by August only in 2020. And that was probably one of the major roadblocks we had to face. So we were not having bikes for that intervening period of time. And well, that was a tough time for all of us. We all are facing lockdowns, and the business activity was down to a zero. So we could sail through that time, but it was a tough moment for everyone concerned with Ducati and our extended family. So neither we were having bikes to sell, nor our dealerships were having bikes to sell, nor our customers were getting new bikes to ride. So that was a tough time for all of us, which thankfully we managed, and now we have all the bikes. So the business is back to normal.
Yes.
Well, that's life.
So yes, during the time of crisis, we have experienced that the luxury segment is a place where it was affected, but again now it is coming back. People are coming back to their own track, and the things are moving smooth once again.
Correct.
Who are your target audience, and how are you reaching out to them?
How are you reaching out is something which I tried to reply during the previous questions, that we touch base with all the customers through our social media handles. We touch base through our customers through experiential marketings. So anyone who is willing to buy a bike, he gets in touch with us. We have so many things. Mostly, as I said earlier, this bike is something which you need to experience before actually signing on the dotted lines. So we have so many things like Sunday rides. We have test track rides. We have off-road rides. We have general curated rides. So there are so many things through which we touch base with our customers, and social media handles, as already said, they are there. So these are some of the ways. And as I said earlier, the showroom being the physical entity, so we are always present through our showroom. So these are some of the ways through which we touch base with our customers. Coming back to the first question, who are our customers? So
Yes.
again, I would not limit myself to any particular class of buyer in the society. I would say any person who loves automobiles is my customer. So so it is again not about buying a Ducati and riding a Ducati. No, probably a customer, any person who has a genuine love for automobiles, who has genuine love for Ducati, and even if he comes to my showroom and buys a T-shirt of Ducati, I think that's enough proof for my brand. He is
Wow.
a customer of Ducati because we sell all the accessories. We sell lots of T-shirts, jeans, shoes, riding accessories, gears,
Wow.
everything, racing,
Mm-hmm.
riding. So any
Mm-hmm.
customer, even if he buys a T-shirt from me, probably he is buying this because of his love for the brand,
That's right.
and that's more than enough for me. It is not only
Yes.
buying a bike. That's definitely there. I would love every customer to buy a bike from Ducati. But yes, if he's buying a cap, if he's buying a T-shirt, if he's buying a pair of jeans or a pair of shoes, probably he's my customer, and that is our very big business from our side.
Right. Right. So as we move forward, what are the future of expansion of Ducati in India? Vipul? How it?
We are very bullish on the future of Ducati in India.
Mhm.
In the month of January 21, we had promised to everyone in the country that we shall be launching 12 bikes, and we are on track. We have already done everything. Now just one bike is to be launched. So
Wow.
we are already there. Everything is almost done and dusted. And
Mhm.
whatever we had said. So I would say to quote Mr. Ratan Tata, promise is a promise. And that's what we did.
Oh wow.
So we are here. We are
Mhm.
very bullish. Our numbers are also looking pretty good. We are in line with our business plans. So for coming years also, Ducati is very strongly put up here. As far as network development is concerned, we will take the calls and decisions as and when time demands it. So wherever needed, we shall be augmenting our channels. But I cannot put a name to a city right now that in all which cities we shall be opening new
Mhm.
dealerships, because
Mhm.
that's time dependent. That's a function
Okay.
of time and
Mhm.
situation business. But yes,
Mhm.
I can commit through your this interaction. I can commit to everyone that Ducati is more strongly than ever put up in India now.
That sounds super exciting, Vipul, and we are looking forward towards that. I mean, more Ducatis around us.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a high. That's an energy. I mean,
No, just and just to add what you are saying, more Ducatis. So uh, 2020 is yet to get completed, and we have sold more Ducatis than 2020. So I think that's a good
Ooh.
testimony to my statement.
Wow, that's a great news. What is the strategies that has worked for the brand in the last 1 year, Vipul?
So I think being true and transparent to everyone in the system has helped us tremendously in past 1.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the situations were, because of almost everything was outside our control. Whether it was BS4, BS6 transition, whether it was COVID, whether it was COVID-induced situation, whatever it was beyond our control. So we were very true and transparent to within our team, within our dealer fraternity, and with our customers. So I think that was one strategy which everyone knew what we are talking about. We never hid anything from anyone. So and whenever we said something, we stood by that.
Okay.
So if we had just a couple of bikes to launch in the BS6 segment, we spoke very clearly to everyone that these are the only models which shall be launching in 2020. These would be the models we shall be launching in 2021. And as I just said a couple of minutes ago, that if we committed that we will launch 12 bikes in 2021, so we have done that. So I think being transparent with everyone was one strategy which has helped us a lot, and I think that we shall continue with in coming years, because you should not be shying away from looking yourself in the mirror. So that's one thing very important.
That's super inspiring. Once it's committed, consider it done. So I spoke to a lot of marketing head and manager, and I have concluded that even if it is during the crisis, you shouldn't stop communicating with your customers. So
correct, very true.
I think that is the crux. You should not sit back and just not communicating, even if the business is not happening or whatever
Yes,
reason.
you're absolutely right. And just to support your statement, last year when there was widespread lockdown in the country, and
Mhm.
everyone knew that we can't do anything. So
Mhm.
from our side, through all our social media handles, we issued so many information to our customers, and
Mhm.
on a very basic items: how to
Mhm.
maintain your bike, how to
Okay.
keep your bike.
Uh-huh.
So if you go through our past communication on Facebook and other handles, you would see
Mhm.
that we have issued information something as basic as how much air pressure to be kept in your tires,
Okay. Mhm.
how to keep your bike in the best situation, how to keep
Mhm.
your battery in the best of the health. We
Mhm.
had issued some online games and quizzes and puzzles just to keep the customer emotionally bonded with Ducati brand. That okay, you are having lots of free time because of the lockdown. You are
Mhm.
working for 8, 10, 11 hours, whatever your company says,
Mhm.
whatever work
Mhm.
you have at your hand. Afterwards,
That's
what?
right.
You
Yeah.
cannot go out. So
Yeah.
you enjoy some small puzzles and games on
Mhm.
social media through Ducati.
Yes.
So we have tried to do that. So there have been we actually issued one entire series of historical bike photographs from Ducati.
Oh.
Now none of our generation would have even seen those bikes,
Mhm.
leave alone riding those bikes. So we
Mhm.
issued photograph of those bikes for history buffs. See, these are the kind of bikes we were making,
Mhm.
manufacturing, and selling, and people were riding. Now, how
Mhm.
we have progressed. So, as you have rightly said, we never stopped communicating with our customers, and I believe that was one very important aspect in keeping the
Mhm.
Ducati brand alive, in keeping the Ducati brand current and true to the times we are going through.
Mhm.
So that's important point you have actually and aptly said, that one should not stop communicating with the customers or anyone in the channel,
Mhm.
and we agreed with that precisely.
That's right. And just now you pointed out that, see, for any brand, a customer should feel a part of that family. So, in the time of crisis, as you included them to the legacy of the history, the whole range of Ducati. So they feel a part of it and they know it better than before. So that's a great message for any brands to pursue. So, what principles you rely upon during the toughest moment, as a managing director of such iconic brand?
For me, the guiding principle, the guiding mantra, anytime and anywhere would be honor before anything.
Mhm.
So whatever I do, whatever decisions I take, I have to remain true to myself. I have to remain true to all the principles, values I have in life.
Mhm.
So for short-term gains, I cannot afford to have long-term problems, or I cannot afford to have long-term things which are going to hurt me in future. So that's very important point to understand and to inculcate that as a habit in life.
Mhm.
Right? Your honor, honor of the company, honor of your team members, honor of the
Mhm.
brotherhood. It is beyond and before anything and everything. It should not be, or rather, I would say in a different word, it
Mhm.
should be above reproach. So that's a very important point for me, and that I always take care in my mind.
That's right. Now we are moving towards a little lighter section, and which is one of my favorite, very interesting section, rapid fire round, where you need to
Okay.
answer one word. Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's start with what is leadership for you?
Probably, I would reply in two things. One is transparency towards all the people you lead,
Mm-hmm.
and probably finding a successor to your position.
Awesome. What is the book you are planning to read?
I have so many books at my home. In fact, I am small time bibliophile, you can say. I love to read and collect books.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I am reading Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Oh,
So that
who has been the greatest influence to you?
uh, that's again a tricky one. So I would not say that the greatest influence as such, but the person whom I look up to as one of the biggest corporate captain. I would reply that way. And I think Mr. J.I.D. Tata happens to be that person.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And on a lighter note, I am glad and fortunate to share my birthday month with him. So that's
Okay.
amazing, another amazing thing.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
but yes,
Mm-hmm.
he is one person And since I have worked for Tata Motors as well, I'm an ex Tata Motors, so that goes
Okay.
from there as well.
What is the best thing that has happened to you this year?
Probably we were able to stand to our commitment of launching 12 bikes.
That's a high feeling. No.
Yes.
When are you most inspired, Vipul?
I'm a very happy-go-lucky chap, so I'm always full of ideas, always happy, always bubbly. So I won't put a time to it.
Awesome. I could relate now. I mean, during the conversation itself. Yeah. So, early in the morning or late in the night, what kind of person you are?
I'm earliest in the morning.
Wow. What is the best compliment you have ever received?
As I said, I wish to remain true and transparent to all my people. So whenever some of my ex team members come back to me and say that, boss, you gave me good advice. So probably that is the best compliment I keep on getting.
What does creativity means to you?
It's part of life. Whatever you do, it's always a creative activity.
What is the important life lesson for someone to learn?
I always believe, and I have said earlier also during this interaction, that whatever you do, there has to be honor before anything.
Amazing. So with that, we are out of the rapid fire round, and and towards the end of the conversation, what is your message to the aspiring marketers, brand managers, aspiring sales professionals?
My only message to all these people would be never stop learning. See, getting to a position, getting to a designation does not mean that you know everything. Every day comes with its own challenge, and you have to learn every day something new to keep yourself relevant. When I look at myself, by my age, when I started riding big bikes, people actually retire. They said that no, I'm done and dusted. But yes, I started late, no worries. But then I keep on learning every day. I keep on asking questions to people because I do not know this thing. So there is no harm and there is no shame in asking and learning. So this is what you have to do. Whatever field you choose, you cannot be expert of everything and anything in a single day. Suppose today I get transferred to a different division, to a different company, to a different location. Probably I do not know everything about that market in a single day. I would not be knowing. So I have to ask intelligent questions, and that means asking questions even to the so-called juniors in the team. They can be your teachers their way because they know more about that market than you. They know more about that product, business line, whatever than you. So you should not feel any kind of shame in learning, in asking questions, and you should not stop learning. I believe that's the message I would pass on to anyone in any field of business.
That's a great message, and it's super motivating that there is no age of learning, and the more you are in the learning process, the more young you are. A great addition, to the conversation with this, and I just enjoyed the whole process. The whole interaction here, Vipul. It was a great.
I'm glad.
Talking with you, with facts, with insights, with the knowledge, and with your vibes and aura. It was amazing interacting with you. Thank you so much for your time, Vipul. From your busy schedule, and we are so happy to have you here.
Thanks a lot, Devalina, and it was a pleasure for me also to interact with you.